What conspiracy theory do you believe to be true? What evidence led you to this conclusion? Used to live in a small town in South Dakota and I'm convinced there is something in the food/water there to keep people there. Impartially convinced it's actually the Dairy Queen causing this, because for a town of 7,000, this place is always so busy and somehow, every year for the past 11 years the entire length of this competition sells the most blizzards on Miracle Treat Day. A town of 7,000 outsells every other Dairy Queen. There's also some other things, in that the town has a significant amount of people all with very similar disabilities to their left legs. I honestly am just glad I'm out of that town, before it sucked me in. But how the hell does that small ass town sell 40,000 blizzards in a day? The stories about Dunskneder. Watching some clips of shows he produces is downright creepy. The tweets of his actress's feet don't help his cause. Not a doubt in my mind the stories about him are true. I grew up watching all those shows, and in retrospect there is so much creepy stuff in them. There's just so many scenes of underage actresses in bikinis, so many really sexual jokes about characters, who are literally middle schoolers, and obviously a ridiculous amount of foot fetish stuff. It's very obviously true. I keep ink pens from every year dating back to 2008 in my desk, so that if I need to forge and backdate an important document I can sign it with ink that matches the year I'm backdating. Yes, feds do check ink in fraud investigations. Not really a conspiracy, but might answer a few questions. Restaurant owners know how awkward it is to be sung to in front of the whole establishment, and they do it to discourage people from taking advantage of their free birthday food. I hit radio coordinates commercials breaks to all take place simultaneously, so you're forced to listen to ads even you change the station. They're practically a monopoly in my area, and I notice it happens to me all the time. Radio stations, even competitors, do this on purpose. No hidden conspiracy needed. If your main competitor airs spots commercials at 15, 30, and 45, it's in your interest to do the same. That way your listeners can't switch to music on another station during your spot break and potentially stay there. It's not like radio is secret. You can and should monitor competition and plan accordingly. To your original point, iHeart is just Clear Channel, and they tend to have a general template that all their stations follow. So one station will have its breaks at or around the same time as another. This is all based on a lot of market research and has generally been tested and refined over time to the point of ensuring rating success. Other stations follow suit. The negative side effect is the homogenization of radio. They all sound alike because it works, but it only works in a everything is mediocre kind of way. If someone does break from the pack and create a successful innovation, other stations follow, and the homogenization continues. For a further example, notice that local TV news shows tend to cover weather, sports, local news, etc. all at or around the same basic time. Source: programmed radio stations for years. Worked for Clear Channel. Played the same damned classic rock songs in a different order day after day, week after week. Every time someone posts about a safe on Reddit, they actually have already opened it and know nothing is in it before their first post. That the USA deliberately gets into an armed conflict every decade or so for the purpose of ensuring that at any given time, they always have a critical mass of soldiers with actual combat experience. They get in a lot of conflicts, and it seems highly probable that the leadership of a country that spends so much on national defense would highly value the institutional knowledge that comes from that kind of continuity of practical experience, even if it comes at a high human cost. This is more of a personal conspiracy. I've been working as an American healthcare consultant for 2 years now, and I genuinely think that insurance companies are purposely denying claims so that they can leverage $ for their beneficiaries' medical records. For example, one of my clients, a huge and important hospital system, had to deal with hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical claim denials because Humana suddenly decided it didn't believe any of those hospital stays were legitimate. They basically told my client to either fax hundreds of medical records or accept the zero pays. It's really suspicious and unfortunate. But when they have the money, what can you do? Area 51 is not a place for secret government / military testing with aliens and stuff. Instead, Area 51 is a scapegoat, while shady behind the scenes stuff is going on at another military base that the general public doesn't know about. I mean, if you were really going to do something in secrecy, would you do it in the place where everyone thinks it is? Hell no. I don't have any specific evidence to back this up, but it makes sense, right? A forensics specialist believes Jamie Hewlett at Gorillas is Banksy. It's not as big as other submissions here, but it's a theory I buy. Edit. Thank you everyone for providing your own theories in the comments. I buy into a good handful of them now. That Apple started the AirPods meme, and right before Christmas they would give out $150 gift cards. Edit. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Thank you. I fully believe companies are using memes as a marketing technique. All it needs is one big post on a couple subs here, and it's all over the internet hitting their target audience in hours days. Disney made Zootopia, partly to replace the Song of the South characters from Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is really the only thing that still exists in the public eye from Song of the South, along with the song Zip-a-Dee-Doo-Dah, since Disney wants to pretend that movie doesn't exist. So they created a movie featuring Fox and Rabbit characters that could replace Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, and rethemed the entire ride to be Zootopia themed, while leaving some things like the name and the songs featured in the ride from Song in the South. There's also that Disney loves retheming things to their right now, getting rid of Maelstrom and bringing in a Frozen themed ride, so it would make sense for them to retheme ride to a successful recent movie than keep a ride based off an old, mildly racist movie they're trying to forget. I'm starting to think that the really stupid conspiracy theories, vaccines causing autism, flat earth, lizard people, etc., are intentionally spread by propaganda groups and troll farms. They don't care what stupid shit you believe, but they are very interested to know that you're a gullible mark who will believe anything with no evidence and won't do research with authorities on the matter to find the truth. If you want to spread misinformation, look for the people who do it as a hobby. Gum's gotten mintier lately. Have you noticed? Like, some of it's just too minty. OMG, my boyfriend's favorite gum, Spearmint 5, used to taste, as he described, like a subtle mint chocolate chip. Now it tastes like freaking toothpaste. We proceeded to buy every spearmint at the store for testing, and they all taste different now. He actually called Wrigley and they confirmed that they have changed the formula of their 5 spearmint and many other gums they make as well. They mailed him a coupon, lol. The lines on the detergent caps are higher than they should be, so you use more detergent for each load of laundry. It's so easy for them to get away with it. I have a theory that Tinder gives fake "you got a new match" notifications, so people get excited and opens Tinder, which leads them to swipe more. Source: myself. The news report about beards containing more bacteria than a dog that just licked his own asshole. Beards are messing with facial recognition software. The man wants beards to not be trendy anymore. I feel like drugs like cocaine being cut with fentanyl. No dealer who wants to keep making money is going to cut their blow with fent. It seems like drugs are being intercepted, cut with dangerous shoot, and then sent back out. Evidence: they already did the same thing during alcohol prohibition. The people doing it are convinced they are doing society a favor. Reddit works with the NSA. I see weird posts sometimes targeting my demographic to respond. Make sure to know you have no privacy here. I see some making throwaway accounts. Very smart. Some people / celebrities fake their deaths to retire from public eyes. I think the US made a secret peace plan with China after the Korean War. I base this on the way Chinese foreign policy changed so quickly and their lack of involvement in American wars in the decades to come. I think it fell apart in the 90s under Bush Sr. I used to tell people that I believed the government listened to all phone calls. Years later, some guy named Snowden proved me right. I don't necessarily believe this, but I've always speculated that a lot of priceless artwork and historical documents are actually replicas or copies. Obviously, a painting by a world famous artist using a very specific technique would be very hard to fake, and I don't think that every art scholar in the world is paid off in some grand conspiracy. Rather, I just think that either the national treasures never left their vaults, or that some national treasures actually were lost to history, but they were copied. The Hawaii nuke false alarm last year was actually the US government testing to see how the general population would react if an actual nuclear war broke out. I believe that the government probably makes some conspiracy theories to try to make questioning the government seem somewhat crazy. The countdown timers on ads for games or streaming services are actually longer than seconds. Seems too long sometimes. I think Apple is pushing their AirPods on consumers by making their software updates less and less compatible with wired headphones. My reasoning: my new headphones have started to consistently skip songs, activate Siri, stop and start music without me touching or even moving them. I asked around and other people are having the same issue. Not to be a tinfoil hat person, but tinfoil hat. Conspiracy: my local Jimmy John's waits until they have 3 to 4 orders to deliver before they bring me my freaking sandwich. Evidence: where's my freaking sandwich? This is prov McDonald's McDelivery service asks its stores to wait an extra 20 minutes or so before heading out to deliver in case any more orders come in from the same location. They quote a 45-minute delivery time when most of their menu is not made to order and can be ready to go in under 5 minutes. 23andMe is run by the government to collect your DNA and database it for later. I'm 100% convinced that Hostess going under a few years ago was a total marketing ploy. Banks and landowners conspire to manipulate urban land prices, turn an area into a ghetto by marking it as a high-risk loan proposition, denying loans in the area. Property values plummet on a downtown area because no one can sell, because no one can get a loan. Once things are down enough, you can buy up prime location land at pennies on the dollar, then redevelop it into being worth the real market value of such a central location, plus what you invested in the actual development. This is called redlining. It is illegal to do, and there are many laws forbidding it. That's not to say banks don't do it, but it's illegal. Source: worked for banks and sold mortgages. When Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, was at Harvard, he participated in a brutal psychological experiment led by Professor Henry Murray. The experiment lasted for 3 years, and by many accounts they seemed to have an extreme impact on Kaczynski's psyche. I think this experiment was part of the CIA's Culture project and destabilized Kaczynski enough to where he eventually went on his reign of terror of sending bombed packages around the country. During the Culture project, the CIA collaborated with university professors on these mind control experiments, but a lot of the documentation was destroyed when people started to look into it. TL. Dr. The Unabomber participated in an experiment that was a part of the Culture project that eventually led to him becoming a mass murderer. Michael Jordan's father was murdered in retribution for Jordan not paying off massive gambling debt. Jordan didn't retire and then come back. He was suspended for gambling. In the mid-90s, Michael Jordan was an industry. The truth about his gambling habits may have cost a lot of people a lot of money, so the cover story was presented. Edit: I admit the part about his father's murder is a bit of a stretch, but this is a thread about conspiracy theories after all. As for the suspension, I stand by that 100%. I believe that chapstick causes lips to become more dry a couple hours after usage. I base this on the fact that my lips are more dry 5 hours after using chapstick than 2 days after using it. People just use chapstick wrong. It's to seal already existing moisture in the lips, not add moisture. Think of the difference between Vaseline and lotion. Chapstick is basically Vaseline. Ops guild their own submissions from alt accounts to give them traction. Source: the removed comments in this thread were discussing exactly that. The original comment itself was even gilded and removed in less than 30 minutes. The Bandersnatch Black Mirror Netflix special collected watchers' data to better green light productions that were more in line with users' taste. I wrote a complaint online about my pizza place about them cancelling my order without telling me, and the next order I got from them was fricked up. The pizza was way undercooked and not cut, and they didn't include the ranch that I always get with it. Also, when I called to tell them about the frick up, the manager seemed unapologetic and also like he already knew what I was talking about before I called. My conspiracy is that they retaliated since I basically reported them to corporate through their website with my initial complaint. I got a free pizza on my account with them for this, but decided just to not order from them anymore. Mediocre pizza anyway. I believe in the mattress store conspiracy. So the conspiracy is that mattress stores are for money laundering. I went onto Google Maps and typed in "mattress stores near me." There were 4 mattress stores in the same shopping center. There was a road that had 5 mattress stores less than a mile apart. So I definitely believe in it. Freakonomics did a bit on why mattress stores and furniture stores tend to be located close together. I can't remember if it's in one of the books or a podcast. It makes sense in terms of competition. If you're going to go mattress shopping, you don't want to be driving all around town. Chances are you go to one big store close to you and get a mattress there because you're not going to drive around after spending an hour browsing for only a slight chance of getting a better deal somewhere else. But then a competing mattress store buys a lot right next to this one and puts up a bright sign to attract your attention. You'll probably check it out. It's not far. Shoppers see that 2 stores are close together. They are more likely to go to that area than to a third store further away. The third competitor follows the traffic and ends up with a lot close to the other 2 stores. Now people really know this is the area to go to when shopping for mattresses, making it easier for the customer and raising the foot traffic for all 3 stores. The 4th store, located several miles away, is really missing out. All my devices listen in on me. The other day I was arguing with my dad about some chicken I thought had gone off. It was frozen for about a month, so we weren't too sure, but my dad was insistent that it was still edible. Dad decided to ask Google, and lo and behold the related searches even from the first letter were, "Is chicken edible after being frozen for a month? And how long can you freeze chicken before it goes off?" Also, my mom and I use this tactic where, if we need to ring up a company about something, and it puts us in a queue, we swear at it. It then puts you on a priority list and you don't have to wait as long. Kinda sketchy on the company's behalf. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 wasn't an accident. There were definitely external forces that catalyzed its disappearance. The flight path was diverted many times and there was a lot of shady stuff about some of the passengers and the pilot of Flight 370. We may never know unless the plane is found. Apple keeps changing the head of their chargers because they want to piss me off. Evidence: I'm always pissed off. That we didn't have an apocalypse in 2012, but instead shifted into an almost parody timeline of events. It's why humanity's future looks bleaker every year. I believe that Apple started the wearing AirPods equals cool/rich meme intentionally to boost sales. They became the best-selling wireless earbuds worldwide after the meme.